电影《阿凡达3》将于12月19日在中国与北美同步上映。导演詹姆斯·卡梅隆此次将中国列为全球路演关键一站，携新作提前与中国影迷展开对话。做客蓝羽会客厅时，卡梅隆畅谈了《阿凡达》系列的世界观拓展与技术革新，还分享了他对电影未来发展的深入思考。
I wrote Avatar 30 years ago, the first film.
You knew this would happen? Everything changed.
This is a project that's taken 8 years to get to this point. We may see a future of cinema that's actually diminished. I've been fighting against that decline as much as I can.
Hello, Mr. Cameron. Thank you for taking this interview. I'm Lanyu from China Movie Channel. Can you say hello to our audience?
Oh yeah, so hey, China Movie Channel. We're going to talk about our movie.
We must fight!
The Way of Water and Fire and Ash were almost shot together. How do they fit into the Avatar universe?
Well, I think they're a continuation of the overall story. So in movie 1, we introduced this world and the two main characters of Jake and Neytiri. And then in movie 2, we took you out of the rainforest, we took you to the ocean, we saw an equally beautiful but very, very different part of the planet and a whole different culture. We introduced a whole number of new characters, not just the children of the Sullys, but a whole other set of new characters in the reef community, right, which we call the Metkaina, the reef people. And now in this film we introduce yet another, 2 new cultures. So the wind traders, who are the traveling kind of nomadic caravan of the sky, and they're just fun. And then obviously the ash people, who are not fun. And so I've been working in the Avatar universe now more or less for the last 2 decades. So, and this feels like a culmination of that, right? So movie 2 and 3 together form one big story, which ends with this film. And we may start another story, or we may not.
Why is fire such an important element in this film? What does it represent to you, and why did you choose it?
The story that we're telling of the Sully family continues in movie 3, Avatar 3. And they've just had the tragic loss of their eldest son in a battle. So they're reeling from that, they're dealing with that. And so, you know, the idea was to make the movie thematically relevant, because we've got a lot of hatred and a lot of, you know, dislocation and refugees on the move around the world. We're in a period of kind of dark times, and so the theme of the movie is that the violence is propagated by the sense of loss and the sense of trauma, and we see that with the Ash people, and we see it with Neytiri. She becomes very dark and full of hate as a result of their loss. So fire represents hatred, loss, violence, chaos, things like that. Yeah.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
And you know, Chinese audience really love the theme of family and connection. Is there an emotional moment in this film you really want to share with our audience?
Yeah, well, we have all that, right? I mean, I don't want to give too much away, right? You know, you really need to go on the journey yourself. But yeah, we see the bonds of the family tested. So in the previous films, the enemy has been, you know, outside. Now, I don't want to say there's an enemy inside the family. There isn't, but the family's bonds are tested. And we see them sort of falling apart. Can they pull themselves back together? You know, I mean, I like happy endings. It's not a question of if they can, it's a question of how they do it.
2025 is also very special for our Chinese audience because it has been 30 years since your film was released in China for the first time, True Lies.
I think that was one of the first sort of small but relatively successful films that from you know, American filmmaking, from Hollywood, so to speak, that was released here, and then Titanic. But those were both very small releases here. I think it was Avatar where we really turned a corner with the acceptance by a Chinese audience of you know, a film that was made in the U.S.
You always use amazing technology. What's the biggest breakthrough?
I think the breakthrough, you know, really was in the faces and in the characters, you know, in preserving every bit of performance that the actors created. If you could see side by side a video of the actor and the finished render, you would see that nothing is lost. This is their work, exactly. It's not something created later by animators. It's a tremendous amount of work in post-production to do 3,500 shots, 3,500 visual effect shots, right? And that's what takes the time. To create that kind of dream state that you have in the movie, which is kind of like a waking dream or a lucid dream, that takes an enormous amount of time to get that level of photorealism in the VFX.
This time, did an actor surprise you?
Oh, well, look, it's hard for me to be surprised when I work with some of the best actors I've ever worked with in my life. But I was working for the first time with Una Chaplin, and she was a very, very pleasant surprise for all of us because she did an absolutely remarkable performance as Varang. You know, she's a very well-trained actor, and she brought a wonderful performance to this new character, and everybody seems to be responding to her.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
2025 is the 130th anniversary of cinema. What do you think is the future of filmmaking?
Well, I think everybody's asking that question, right? What is the future of filmmaking? I think that storytelling will always follow more or less the same rules, that you have to create characters that people care about. Cinema is a visual art form, it's a technical art form. I think it'll continue to evolve. I think the rules of storytelling will stay more or less the same. I think we're at a point now where with visual effects we can create anything we want. It's just a question of time and money. I think that right now the kinds of films that we like to see in cinemas, which are big action, adventure, spectacle, like an Avatar movie, they're getting expensive. I mean, they've always been expensive, but they're almost getting too expensive to actually make. We may see a future of cinema that's actually diminished, that's less, right? Because people aren't going to the movie theaters as much as they used to because of other media available through streaming and so on. So we may be looking at a decline. I hope that's not true. I've been fighting against that decline as much as I can.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it. No, Spider. And we will find another way.